Well, I'd say for this little moment, I'd like to tell you all a little something before we go on to the next part. You know, sometimes you see that I'll have coffee and water by my place. Sometimes the combination of both helps a little bit, and just kind of as of this week, had a certain person I follow on Instagram kind of share a little thing about how she deals with the stresses of motherhood by having both coffee and water. I'd say, you know, I've never been a parent, not even a father, which is all I'd qualify to be anyway, and that's the kind of thing where, you know, I couldn't relate to that, but will say that probably thought of coffee and water myself because, you know, there's enough things I deal with in life, like stresses of different things in life, and as much as I enjoy carving wood and coming on here to make videos for you all, it's like it probably comes to the point where, you know, just little stresses of everyday life can be like that. I'll tell you a little more about it as we carve along on this little Frenchie, but I'd tell you all we got this much done in the last video, so we're going to try to kind of carve along the rest of the body here, try to carve along the rest of the back and the tail here, and see how the work is going to make itself just come right along, I say. Oh, the joy is in working, I tell you all. And I kind of commented to her, telling her things about my school cafeteria job, how it would be a thing when I had all the stress of that, and probably going to be a little different since I'm moving to a new school, probably have things a little different in ways, but at the one I've been working at for years, how I'd kind of have a cup of coffee and a cup of water out, both at the same time, to help me deal with all the stresses I was working with in there. And I mean, I tell you, I told her a few things about my manager and some of the things she'd say about the cups and all, but we don't need to get too much on that for a video, because she kind of told me about how she enforced that rule working in healthcare. And I'd say for this, we kind of got little work to come along and say that we've furthered along this project. I'd say, wow, interesting, I have to tell y'all. Get a little ways done on this. We already got around the body and the tail somewhat, and making it so we're going to see how it's all just going to work out together, make it so we're going to see a little bit of time come into what we do. And I mean, you know, I probably said little things about my niece in a few videos back, but she's at home with her mama now, so things are quieting down more. I tell y'all that there's little places down here where there's these little saw marks. We kind of get rid of those a little bit along the way. And this little time when we kind of make our work way along on this, it's just kind of a little conflicting story, I say, but we're working our way along. Probably got a little more to do on the body, behind the head, around the neck, make it line up with the body a little bit more, make it so it's going to come its way down right to us, and kind of make it so we're going to see better bright days and futures coming ahead. Oh, this little joy is in our work, I say. And you know, we kind of learn in life as we deal with life, you know, none of us are perfect. So that's how it's going to be for me when I go back to work in a couple of weeks. So always things to keep in mind, and kind of come down to where we see what we're already kind of chipping away now, and make it so it's going to come down to the very thing it's going to be in the end. Make it so we see little brighter joys and toys and things, and wanted to tell you all little things about, you know, all those things I used to make years ago, the little types of scroll saw and bandsaw creatures, that animals that had little butts on the backs of them, and made those for gifts and care packages and things. Don't make those anymore, but we'll tell you how I've taken them out to a few sipping shops over at the Winchester Opera House, where I've shared them with a few vendors out there, given them to them as gifts, and gotten them so much enjoyment out of it, and all the people I enjoyed meeting those places and learning so much more good about. I tell y'all that the events were all good. Now I tell y'all, we come down and you see how the tail comes out a little thinner back there. Want to do a little more working along that. But one thing I want to mention about those little critters is the way I've kind of shared them out in places. I took a whole box of them into Pacini's and kind of opened up the box to the waitress to let her pick. And that's another thing I used to do for years in restaurants, was give those out as gifts to servers and employees in places. But it was always something I kind of did just to kind of show generosity and favor, just to kind of try to show a little kindness and strength and all, and tokens of appreciation for people just being as nice as they were. And then little moments came when it got a little out of hand here and there, so had to refrain a while, but took the whole box to let her pick from. She picked out a cat that was about this tall and kind of two pieces all together, and told me that her son really loves playing with that cat. It was kind of made out of purple heart, one of those really exotic woods that comes out of like Central and South America, you know. Kind of got the little work done along this, make its way around, kind of working down to it. Tell you other little things about that waitress is, you know, if she's one of the sweetest ones there. Once she gets to know you, she'll hug you or anything just to try to cheer you up. Once or twice she's come with me with some tragic news, and I've kind of always kind of freaked out a time or two, telling her I had people coming at me with tragic news left and right, and she just hugged me to try to cheer me and calm me down. And I said, "And you're really sweet." She said, "You're really sweet." I loved you. So I tell y'all that this is just things that make days get a little better. You know, we've come along this far on the puppy. Think we're going to round the tail off, just make it a little more better and softer in the end. Make it so it's going to see brighter endings and brighter beginnings for the future, and those we love and those we really truly care about, I say. And this is where it's coming down, just a little thing where we see just the time we put in, the work we put in, make it so it's going to just be brighter days, brighter nights, brighter endings. Oh, I tell y'all. And sometimes, just sometimes, you know, you realize there's a little past in you that can't be changed, but that's just probably among the things where you learn the most in life, I say. Times. And as for now, we got the little tail on the back. Brush off all the little chips away. This corner is going to be full of chips sooner or later. There's going to come a time when I get back to work and get on a better schedule, and we'll finally get the chance to vacuum all that up. I've already kind of thrown away some trash out of this corner this week. Just a bunch of pieces, old patterns that I no longer needed, and then finally get around to it. As you see, we're carving along the butt of this thing now to try to get rid of all this little excess scrap in here, make it so it's going to see a little brighter days, brighter nights, brighter worlds. And oh, come down to it, I say that there's going to be other little steps we'll take along the way. Hopefully we'll get around to showing some final steps on this little Frenchie, just like we did the Golden Retriever. And we probably got about as much rounding off here as what we need to do to make the video complete about. And there's probably going to be one or two steps we're going to take further along the way as we go about another video for this, but these were the ones I decided to take thus far and say that we probably come quite a long ways for the video, and we'll have so much more to share as we come further along in life. Sometimes, just sometimes, little things can happen in life where we just see the light of day just shine through in brightness in all our ways. And I want to pray of all things that you all will be so much better at what you do. I mean, dogs can find a special place in your heart sometimes, depending on who you are, depending on what kind you have, and many more to be carved and many more to be made. So I just want to say that I want to thank you all for coming on here, watching this video, keeping in touch, and we'll have plenty more to share as we go further along. Thank you for watching again. Goodbye.